Discovery video 192. We're at Suffolk Downs, where we did real well last year, and I knew it was just a matter of time before we'd break loose there this year. I got a turf race here, and I love those turf races. That's a 4-star preferred race. Let's take a look at the listing of those. I'm on the free page here, and also known as the Horse Racing Digest. Top right corner, you'll see the Discovery video button. That takes you to the page with all the videos you can click and watch. And under the red arrow here is my listing of value odds and overlay preferred races. Now basically what this is a list of conditions in which I have found that we have a much better than average chance on getting that nice price value odds or overlay winner. I have them all rated from 1 to 5 stars, 5 stars being the strongest. The race we're looking at in this video is a turf race, which is 4 stars. Actually, should be 4.5 stars, press and 5 stars. That's how well we're doing in those turf races. And this is a race that we're going to look for the value odds horse and see what's going on. Number 1A is Cowgirls First. I like the fact that there's only one value odds horse in the race. Most of the time there is only one, but it just makes our job so much easier because there's really, it's just a quick focus point and that's it. What's going to get me interested in betting Cowgirls First? Now, yeah, you see a whole bunch of icons, but those are not going to get me interested. Those are going to tell me a history and a story. What is the most important thing as far as whether we're going to make a bet? We already know it's a 4-star preferred race on the turf. We know we like the race. Why would we bet the value odds horse? What is the one thing that would make us do that? Here is your odds near post time. Mint Maker, who had the best final time turf, which I like, as you know, 5-1. The 6 horse was the favorite at 9-5. Cowgirls First, the value odds horse, was being let go at 35-1, and Medieval Sword was 18-1. So, yes, at this point, I am now interested. On my value odds horse, I've got to have in the neighborhood of 10-1 or higher. When I say in the neighborhood, I mean closely in the neighborhood of 10-1 or higher. I can accept 9-1 and 8-1 depending on the situation if there's only one value odds horse, but the higher the better. So 35-1, okay, I'm interested now. Now, let me read the report and have it tell me a story about this horse. First of all, I see something I like automatically, which is the yellow and blue pace icon. That indicates that he has the best early and middle pace ratings of the field, and whether that was dirt or turf doesn't matter. It correlates and it carries over from one to the other. As a matter of fact, on this particular morning, I posted the proven winning overlay angle best early pace advantage. Not even looking yet at the day's races. I had no idea that this horse was even running today. I posted this early in the morning. But there can only be one horse per race that can have this icon, and some races won't have any. The simple angle will really surprise you how well it works. Here's your key here. This angle works on all surfaces: turf, dirt, all-weather tracks, and at all distances: sprint, middle routes, long routes. So what we have here is turf, middle route distance. So yes, we are there. We have a positive going with that. Also, angle 10 is another one this horse qualifies for. The value odds angle. There's 5 other icons that, when listed with the value odds horse, are very potent. Pace right there at the top. Okay? So, we have a horse with an early and middle pace advantage. Okay? The next icon I see is Speed Figs. This horse has the best full card report speed figures. And yes, once again, our ratings and figures can carry over from turf to dirt, or the opposite, or all weather to dirt or turf. In other words, our figures and ratings carry over from, let's say if the horse ran on the dirt, but now he's on the turf, like this horse. Why would that be significant? Well, I'm pretty sure we're one of the few, if not the only, that has the ratings that carry over. So if the horse has got the best speed figures on dirt, but today he's racing on turf, it's still significant, okay? It still carries over. All right, those are two obvious things we see. Another thing we see here is I highlighted the turn time rating. Cowgirls First has the highest turn time rating in the field. Extremely important in turf races because turf races are won by that horse making the sweeping move on the turn, or the horse with the best energy on the turn. And if the horse is in the lead on the turn, it's still a very big benefit. Some horses cannot run fast around the turns, and as you all know, turf courses are very tight. The turns are very tight because they're inside the main track. So, any horse that can show the best turn time absolutely has an advantage in turf races. Okay, those are some things that I see. But remember now, the reason I'm betting the horse is because Cowgirls First is being offered up at 35 to 1. Interestingly, I see that the morning line odds maker made him 8 to 1. Now, yes, part of an entry, but the blue horses are scratched, by the way. The other half of the entry was scratched. So, I mean, maybe he made the 8 to 1 line based on the entry. I don't know. But our true odds were 3.5 to 1, which is 7 to 2. So we rate Cowgirls First at 7 to 2, but he's going off at 35 to 1, and that's a huge overlay. Now, I'm going to tell you some things that you can't see on the report, but the horse was given credit for, and was one of the reasons why he made it to be the third pick and the value odds horse in the race. This is something that what I'm about to tell you, I know probably a few players have found this out already. It depends on the research they've done. As you know, I do more research. I do research till my eyes bleed, and I've been doing it for well over almost 2 decades now. In any case, remember when the all-weather tracks started popping up, and now there's just a handful of tracks that are all-weather, whether it be the poly tracks or the cushion tracks or the tap of the surface, whatever version or commercial name, all-weather tracks. Okay, what I had found to be true is when a horse runs well on an all-weather track and he's running on the turf for the first time, I consider that a very, very, very big plus in my book. As a matter of fact, Cowgirl, I went ahead and dug into the program, and I just wanted, just for my own knowledge, see exactly what was going on with this horse. Cowgirls First has never raced on the turf, and as you can see, obviously his last 3 starts were all on dirt. Okay, so he's never raced on turf. He's got. I found out through digging through the statistics that he has. Now, this is stuff you don't see, but is counted when the horse was made the value odds horse. He's got 3 wins lifetime. All 3 of those wins were on all-weather tracks, and not just one all-weather track, more than one. Okay, so he's an absolute lover of the all-weather surface. Putting him on the turf makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Keith Sargent, who owns the horse as well as trains the horse, I'm pretty sure when he saw that this allowance race came up in the condition book, I'm pretty sure he was real excited to get Cowgirls First on the turf to see how she would do. Now, as far as sire is concerned, Personal First is not what you would call a turf sire. In that, well, he himself did not run on the turf, but he has, more important, his offspring have won on the turf going middle distance. So that was important to me. Cowgirls First was sprinting. Now he's being asked to go a mile and 70 on the turf. Personal First was a Kentucky Derby contender, and he was better. He's a better sprinter, but he did run well and stakes placed in middle distance races on the way to the Triple Crown Trail. The dam sire Playfellow, who lived to be almost 30 years old, way back when I was wearing short pants, this was a long time ago, this horse won the Grade 1 Travers and actually ran decent in the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. So it's obvious that Playfellow is going to lend some bottom to the pedigree here. In other words, there's going to be some bloodlines transferred as far as distance is concerned, stamina. Okay, so I felt pretty confident that the pedigree here, while it didn't scream turf, it definitely, like I said, Personal First has offspring that won stakes races in a middle turf distance. So that's what's more important to me is what the sire gets as his offspring. That's more important than what the sire did as a racehorse. Although I do look at that too, but more importantly, what did his offspring do? So when I looked at that, I said, okay, this horse should have been on turf a long time ago. But hey, hindsight's 20/20. But Keith Sargent eventually figured it out. He raises the horse in class to an allowance race here after racing pretty much near the bottom, and he has never won on a conventional dirt surface, yet most of his starts were on, or at least half of them or more, were on a conventional dirt surface. He doesn't like the surface. But so he gave, what I found out is he gave the horse off for when Suffolk Downs closed, let him rest, brought him back for the Suffolk Downs meeting, which just began here recently, gave him a couple of races in which he did not run bad, a fourth and a third, considering he doesn't like conventional dirt tracks, and now taking the three lifetime winner, all three on the all-weather surface, switching him to the turf. I absolutely freaked out when I saw that, because if you've watched my previous videos, you've heard me say that I love horses switching surfaces, because that tells me the trainer is doing something specific. The trainer is doing something that he has in the plan for the horse if he's switching the surface or switching tracks. That too I like. But not only that, but when I see a horse that likes the all-weather track switching to the turf, or vice versa, a horse that runs well on turf switching to an all-weather track, either way, I love it. I have found it to be so significant. I have found so many big long shot winners that way. If you've watched my videos, you know I've talked about that in the past. I'm sure that Keith Sargent knew his horse. I mean, he owns the horse, so he trains the horse. But maybe, you don't get that many turf races at Suffolk Downs. I mean, they're few and far between. So, I mean, he's stabled at Suffolk, so basically he had to wait. He had to wait for the right race to come around, and I'm pretty sure he was excited to get this horse on turf. I don't know. I didn't talk to him. I don't know the man, but part of my job is to think like a trainer, and I'm pretty sure that he was excited to get this Kentucky bred on turf. So, that is the history of the horse. Why did the betting public not bet it? Very simple. They don't like, 35-1 is a huge overlay. The betting public does not like horses switching surfaces, especially going dirt to turf. They absolutely do not like that, because most of them don't really have enough information to make a decision, so they just don't like it. Okay, what they're not familiar with, they don't like. So that's one reason the horse went off at 35 to 1. They probably, some of them may have even looked and saw, well, this horse has never raced on turf. Wouldn't you rather have a horse switching to the turf that's never raced on turf than a horse that has raced on turf and lost or has not won? I personally would rather have the horse that's never raced on turf, especially seeing that he had all three of his career wins was on the all-weather track. Okay, and that was all. That information was all figured in. You don't see an icon for that. Okay, there's some stuff you don't see an icon for, but it was factored in into making Cowgirls First the value odds horse in the race in Group A. Okay, it's like the old spaghetti sauce commercial. The old lady said, "It's in there." Okay, in other words, it's in there. It's in the recipe. It's all in. It's all in there. So there's nothing left now. We've already established this is a turf race, which I love, preferred race. We've already talked about the history of the horse, what the story is telling us on the report, and I gave you the story that you don't see, and which all had to do, all came in line as well as the icons in making the horse the value odds pick. We've discussed why the betting public didn't bet this horse. They simply do not like him switching surfaces. There's only one thing left to do, and that's stage 2, putting the proven wagering strategies together. Now, the first bet is the win bet. Whether you're going to make other bets, exotic wagers or not, always get the win bet down first. Because, let's say you bet a trifecta. What if your 35 to 1 horse wins, but you miss the trifecta? I mean, we've all been there. If you've been in this game a while, you've done it probably more than once, and you wanted to beat your head against the wall. I've done it. Okay, we've all done that. There's no reason to do that if we simply make it in our proven wagering strategies to put the win bet down first. Some players only bet to win. I have a lot of members that only bet to win. It's a very good conservative approach. I have bettors with small bankrolls and bettors with huge bankrolls, and they still only like to bet to win. So the win bet is not just for the bettor who's trying to build this bankroll, but it's absolutely the best bet for that type of player. Next in line, I like to do an exacta wheel, so I'll do a $2 exacta 1A with all. There's no daily double, otherwise I'd wheel that too. So at this point, I've got my win bet. Oh, that's $14 for the videos on the win bet. Now, your bet could be more or less depending on your bankroll. I mean, your bet could be $2 to win. It just depends on your bankroll. But $14 for the videos, $2 exacta 1A with all. So if my horse wins at this point, I'm guaranteed those bets. Now, for those that have bankroll for trifecta, here's the strategy that we always play. The 1A will be our key horse in the first position. In the second position, we're going to put the 7, 6, 5, 8. That represents the rest of the horses in Group A and the top horse in Group B. We're going to go all for third, 10-cent super, all for fourth, and we do have a pick 3 starting here, in which I will single the 1A, and I will play the Group A horses in the other 2 races. Very simple. Very simple. So, the report is telling me, now just because the horse has got the best early mid-pace rating, doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to go to the lead. I see here his run style's an early presser. So and another thing I forgot to mention, 9 days back. Very significant. Why would they wheel a horse? When they're wheeling a horse 9 days back or any single digits away back and switching surfaces to the turf or vice versa, that is like a red flag. The trainer's just screaming at you. I'm wheeling my horse back in 9 days for a reason. I'm switching the horse to the turf for a reason. Hello. I forgot to mention that one. Anyway, all right, so we got our win bet and our exacta. And our trifecta 1A on top with the 7, 6, 5, 8 with all 10-cent super all for fourth, and I told you about the pick 3. So he can lead or he can press the pace. He's got the option. I expect him to be somewhat up near, close near the lead. There you go. Tammy Pomerani is, all she does is win races. I missed her at Tampa Bay this winter. This winter she decided to go down to Turf Paradise, but she's a Suffolk Downs jock. That's her home track. But she did very well at Turf Paradise. All she did was win races, and that's all she does at Suffolk Downs is win races. So I absolutely love the fact that she was on the horse, and because she's a woman, a lot of players don't like to bet female jockeys. That is now, hey, I didn't make it up. It's not my personal opinion. I think that the female jockeys are just as capable as the male jockeys, but many horse players don't like a female jockey. It's just a fact. It's always been that way as long as I can remember. Okay. But that's fine. All the better for us. If you had, let's say, Dean Pinnell riding this horse, the horse probably would have gone off at 15-1 or 12-1. So all the better for us. Okay. Now, final odds was 32.90-1. Your favorite ran out of the money. This is why. And then look, our 5 horse at 20-1 ran third. So it finished 1A 7-5. 1A 7 final time turf rating 5. The fourth horse in Group A at 20-1. Okay, which because this is why I like to put all for third. If you get the favorite out of there, you're looking at a huge trifecta, and we caught the huge trifecta. 67.80 on the Win Mutual. The exacta with the 5-1 top pick, 455.80. And here's where we made our summer so far. Trifecta paid over $10,000. We have it for $1. So we had it for $5,000 and change. And we hit all our bets. $474.60 on the win bet. 455.80 like I showed you on the exacta. The $1 trifecta with my strategy, $5,402.70. A dime on the super returned for 10 cents, $703.80. And the one pick 3 we hit just for good measure, $184.40. Total rake in $7,221.70. 7 boxes of ziti. All right, and I got a lot of emails about this race, a lot. And those that follow the videos, we're all over this. Plus the fact, like I said, is I had made the daily article about the early mid pace advantage early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I hadn't even looked at the day's card at Suffolk yet. So that was kind of an interesting coincidence there. Oh, also I want to show you quickly another race on the same day. We have here at Philadelphia Park, also known as Parks, one of our favorite go-to tracks. I have a 7,500 9 winners of 3 claimer. That's a 5-star race. That's a conditional claiming race. The lone value odds horse, Billy Sings Sinatra, out of Mr. Sinatra. Boy, I remember Mr. Sinatra in New York. He was a tough one. Anyway, Billy Sings Sinatra, the lone value odds horse in the race, was a winner at 19-1. Beat the heavy favorite. Beat the heavy 4-5 favorite. So there was a 41-20 winner there at just for good measure at Philadelphia Park, also known as Parks. Okay, so well, we looked at a lot of good stuff here, and we learned a lot. I would say the biggest thing that you could take from this, other than the obvious, which is the icons that we all know about, is pay attention when these horses that have run on all-weather tracks, if they're switching to the turf or vice versa. If they've run on the turf switching to the all-weather track or the dirt. I love surface switches. I love where the betting public can't stand surface switches because they don't know how to rate them. Just like maiden races, the betting public hates maiden races, where we rake in tons of money on maiden races, but the betting public doesn't have a good way of analyzing maiden races. So it confuses them. So therefore, they bet in the wrong direction. Which is, obviously always beneficial to us. And anytime a horse switches surfaces, they don't know what to do. Okay, they may look at the sire and say, well, not a turf sire. Okay, cross them out. But there's more to it than that. If it was that easy, then there'd be a lot more profitable horse players. But and that's what these reports are designed for. It's long-term profit. Okay. The third stage is the bankroll management. You must have a bankroll management plan, also known as money management. You have to manage your money. You have to have a plan in other words, whatever your horse racing bankroll is, X amount of dollars set aside for horse racing, that becomes your bank. Now, I suggest you bet a maximum of 1% of that bankroll on any given race you partake in. If you do that, you virtually guarantee that you'll never blow your bank. Now, I know that's hard to do, especially if you're starting out. 1% might be only a $2 win bet to you. But, this is the proper way to wager. If you've got $100 in your pocket and you bet $20 a race, and let's say you don't win for 5 races, you're done. And what if race 6 and 7 comes around, and then that would have been a big one you hit? But you can't play it because you blew your bank. That's why money management is very important, so that you have bankroll when races like this come about. Okay? So that you have the bankroll to get from one big hit to the next. That's the secret. And also recognizing trends and patterns. Okay? Is another little secret. And as far as money management's concerned, another thing is you quit off a win. In other words, third race at Suffolk, $7,000 knockdown. I'm out of here. I'm done. But if I want to stick around and watch the rest of the racing or play Philly Park, see, the chances on getting another big winner at Suffolk, the laws of your basic laws of math and probabilities tell you you're not going to get another big win at Suffolk. However, that doesn't stop you from playing on a different track. Okay? So, but the basic rule is try to quit when you're ahead. And if you have to, become just, bet $2 a race if you want to stick around and watch the rest of the races. There's always going to be another race, another card tomorrow. Your odds of probabilities are a lot better tomorrow to get another winner than they are today. Significantly better. So that's why I always reduce my bets to $2. My bankroll is up there. I go to $2 bets. As a matter of fact, I had this race. I collected a little over $10,000 the way I bet it, and I immediately switched to a $2 better for the rest of the day, just based on the odds of probability. I don't want to give the money back. Okay, some players think that that's track money. But it's not track money. It's money you earned. It's your money. So don't think, okay, I'm playing with track money now. Start throwing money in every direction, because this is what horse players do. If they hit a big one, guess what? They're making bets for the rest of the day that they would never bet normally. But because they're betting with quote-unquote track money, doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt. Well, that's bullshit. It's your money. Don't give it back. Keep it. Always break yourself down. Bring yourself down off a win, especially a big win. You've got a much better chance in coming back tomorrow than you do today, or go to a different track that hasn't had a value odds winner yet. Okay? You got to keep the odds of probabilities and all that combined with your money management principles. Excuse me. Those are your 3 stages: your handicapping, your proven wagering strategies, and your bankroll management. You got to have all 3 for a long-term profit if that's what your goal is. Okay? And that's what these reports are designed for. They're designed for long-term profit. So, and my strategies and everything else, if you want to make a profit at the end of the year, you got to follow, the 1, 2, 3. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. If you leave one of those out, and I know a lot of players, most players don't pay attention to bankroll management. That's why 20% of us are winning the pools. In other words, 80% of the horse players are losing money, but you have to understand that money is distributed after the track takes their takeout. The balance of that, which is most of the money, is paid off to the winning tickets. So basically, you're playing against the other horse players. 80% of them are losing money year in and year out to the 20% who are making money. There's a small percentage of us who are making all the money, making the profit every year. And, my goal is to have everybody on my team in that direction. But like I said, you can't make shortcuts. It's just like anything else. But it's a simple 1, 2, 3. Handicapping, proven wagering strategies, bankroll management. It's it. It's easy. Well, it's simple. It's not easy because it's really hard for a horse player to have the patience it takes. It does take some patience. If you don't have patience, it's going to hurt you. I know it's hard to have patience in this game because it's exciting. I understand that. Patience is something that has to be developed, and there has to be some practice in developing the patience that it takes to get to a big win like this. Okay? Without playing scared money. The old saying, scared money never wins. Never. Because once you're playing scared, your mind, your brain cannot think normally, and it will not think correctly, and you will make mistakes. Same thing if you're drinking alcohol while you're gambling. Drinking alcohol, what the alcohol does to your brain is all of the nerves and all the what I call the connectors that fire in the brain, which send information from one part of the brain to the other and process the information, that it all becomes it kind of stops when people drink alcohol. Alcohol immediately affects your decision making in your brain. It immediately you're actually thinking with, they say that we only use 10% of our brain. It's somebody that's drinking alcohol is probably only using 1% of their brain. That's about all the power they have. So drinking alcohol will cause mistakes. You will make mistakes because you're not thinking with a clear head. If you like to drink beer, wait till the races are over and then go have some beer or whatever. But when you're at the races, stick to coffee or water. Coffee is actually a great way to help you concentrate. I love coffee. Coffee helps me concentrate tremendously. Or water. Or, maybe a Pepsi it wouldn't hurt, something like that. But don't drink alcohol. You're just going to throw your money away. You will make bad decisions. Okay? Anyway, I think we covered everything from A to Z in this video, and we found out some very interesting information that you can use to make some money with. So I suggest you watch this video more than once. And watch the video 3 times, actually. Because if you watch the video 3 times, you will retain more of the information that I spoke about. And that's what you want to do, is retain the information. So watch the videos 3 times. On your free page here, the Horse Racing Digest, you have the link to the Discovery videos. You have the free ebook, my first book, 36 Proven Winning Overlay Angles. Time-proven angles that have worked for 2 decades and still work. As a matter of fact, that angle, the pace angle, Angle number 2 was one of the very first I came up with a long, long time ago. But this is another great resource for you. And of course, all the other articles that I have written over the years to help you understand the reports. And basically, that's all your job to do is understand how to read the reports and that the reports tell you a story. But always remember the most important thing. Always remember that everything else doesn't matter unless we get the odds near post time where we need them to be. And again, my threshold is 10 to 1 or in the neighborhood of 10 to 1 or higher. If they would have bet Cowgirls first down to 5 to 1, I would not have made the bet. I don't care how many other things were exciting about the horse. This is the most important thing. Okay? I'm going to end the video on that because I don't want you to forget what the most important thing is. Everything else is a story and history. Okay? All right. Good video. Thank you for viewing. Good luck with all your bets.